Let's dive into 20 weird facts you didn't know about Dirty Harry, 1971.
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
1. That iconic line wasn't in the script, at least not like that. Believe it or not, "Do you feel lucky?" wasn't written exactly as we know it. The original dialogue was long and clunky, something like, "You've got to ask yourself if you fired 6 shots or only 5. Eastwood and Siegel trimmed it down during rehearsals, adding pauses and rhythm until it hit perfectly. The delivery was pure Eastwood, slow, intimidating, effortless. Today, it's ranked among AFI's top 100 movie quotes of all time, right up there with
"May the force be with you."
Not bad for an ad-libbed rewrite. 2. The rooftop sniper scene was too real. The opening sequence where Scorpio shoots a woman swimming on a rooftop was filmed on a real building in downtown San Francisco. Locals thought there was an actual gunman. Several people called 911, and police swarmed the area. Production had to pause multiple times while Eastwood personally explained to officers that it was a movie. Even then, they kept a real patrol car stationed below just in case. 3. The bus kidnapping scene was filmed without permits. The chaotic school bus finale was pure guerrilla filmmaking. The crew didn't have city permits to film in traffic, so they just went for it. They raced through the streets, real drivers honking, kids screaming, Eastwood hanging on for dear life. Police actually showed up mid-scene thinking it was a real kidnapping. Instead of stopping them, one officer reportedly said, "You better hurry before the mayor finds out."
Eastwood began a directing career firmly rooted in classic American cinema.
4. Clint Eastwood stepped in as director for a day. When director Don Siegel fell ill one morning, Eastwood didn't waste time waiting. He picked up the megaphone and directed several key sequences himself, including the famous bank robbery scene. That's the one where Harry says the immortal line, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" Eastwood's calm, minimalist directing style kept production on schedule and showed everyone he had the chops to be behind the camera. Within 2 years, he'd direct his own movies, and the rest is history.
You just turn him loose.
5. Dirty Harry was almost played by Frank Sinatra. It's true before Clint Eastwood stepped into the role. The part of Inspector Harry Callahan was originally offered to Frank Sinatra. At the time, Sinatra was Hollywood royalty, but there was one tiny problem: that massive .44 Magnum.
Being this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off.
He just had wrist surgery and couldn't hold the gun properly. He famously told Warner Brothers, "This gun is too heavy for me," so he passed. Imagine a version of Dirty Harry with Sinatra cracking wise instead of growling threats, more Vegas lounge than mean streets of San Francisco. A cool image, but we'd never have gotten Eastwood's legendary glare.
I owe Dirty Harry, the movie Dirty Harry, an apology because I lumped it in to all of those movies that were rip-off, probably of Dirty Harry.
6. Critics were furious, but audiences went wild. When Dirty Harry premiered, critics were divided down the middle. Some hailed it as groundbreaking, while others called it fascist filmmaking. They accused the movie of glorifying police brutality and vigilantism. But audiences didn't care they were lining up around the block. The controversy made it a cultural lightning rod. Eastwood later said, "When critics start calling you dangerous, that's when you know you've made something that matters."
Adult male is chasing a female with intent to commit rape. I shoot the bastard, that's my policy.
7. The San Francisco police loved it. While critics debated morality, the real San Francisco police were thrilled. Officers said the movie captured their frustration with rising crime and endless red tape. After the premiere, the SFPD invited Eastwood to meet officers at local precincts. They saw him as one of their own, a guy who understood their struggles. Some even started referring to certain tough cops as Dirty Harry types.
You wanna go home and see you what?
8. The actor who played Scorpio got death threats. Andrew Robinson's performance as the Scorpio killer was so chilling that audiences thought he was genuinely psychotic. He was heckled in public, harassed in restaurants, and even received death threats by mail. Robinson said, "People were afraid of me. I'd go to dinner and someone would whisper, 'That's the guy who shot the kids.'" In reality, Robinson was a peace activist who hated guns. The gunfire scenes made him so uncomfortable that he flinched in every take, and those genuine reactions made the character even creepier. 9. Clint Eastwood kept Harry's gun as a souvenir. After filming Wrapped, Clint Eastwood asked to keep Harry Callahan's famous .44 Magnum, and the studio said yes. He's reportedly held onto it for decades as one of his most prized film props. Eastwood even brought it out years later while promoting later Dirty Harry sequels, joking that he still had the most powerful handgun in the world. It's not just a movie relic, it's a piece of cinema history sitting in his private collection.
So there is one question, Inspector Callahan. Why do they call you Dirty Harry?
10. Clint Eastwood wasn't the first, second, or even third choice. After Sinatra dropped out, the studio scrambled. Steve McQueen turned it down because he didn't want to be typecast as another cop. Burt Lancaster rejected it for being too violent. Even Paul Newman said no, though Newman later recommended Eastwood for the part. When Clint finally came on board, he agreed on one condition. He wanted to work fast and cheap. Warner Brothers agreed, giving him $4 million and total creative freedom with director Don Siegel. That decision created a box office hit and a new cinematic archetype, the no-nonsense anti-hero. 11. The .44 Magnum was practically a co-star. Most powerful handgun in the world. Remember that line? It wasn't just marketing at the time. The Smith & Wesson Model 29 really was the most powerful handgun available. But here's the twist. Before Dirty Harry, it wasn't even popular. Hardly anyone bought it. Smith & Wesson had discontinued production due to low sales. After the movie came out, demand skyrocketed overnight. Gun shops couldn't keep up. Some even started calling it the Dirty Harry gun. It's safe to say Clint Eastwood accidentally created the world's most famous firearm endorsement. 12. Eastwood did almost all his own stunts. Forget stunt doubles. Eastwood insisted on doing nearly everything himself. That includes the chase scenes, fight sequences, and even hanging from the side of a moving school bus during the final act. When asked why, he simply said, "If Harry can't do it, neither can I." It gave the film a realism that set it apart from its slicker Hollywood competitors. Every punch, jump, and glare felt like the real deal.
Well, a naked man is chasing a woman through an alley with a butcher knife and a heart on. I figure he isn't out collecting for the Red Cross.
13. Police training programs used the movie for discussion. After its release, Dirty Harry became a teaching tool in law enforcement ethics courses. Instructors used it to debate questions like, when is force justified? How far is too far? Ironically, a movie criticized for its violence helped shape discussions about restraint and accountability. It's been cited in dozens of police academy classes and criminology textbooks ever since. 14. The original ending was even darker. In early drafts, Harry wasn't just disillusioned, he was suicidal. After killing Scorpio, he was supposed to turn his gun on himself in despair, but Eastwood and Siegel changed it. Instead, he throws his badge into the water, walking away from the system he no longer believes in. That small rewrite turned the ending into one of cinema's most iconic statements, a man rejecting bureaucracy, but not his own morality.
You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
15. Eastwood's squint was born from blinding light. That signature Eastwood squint wasn't just an acting choice. The California sunlight during outdoor shoots was brutal, and the film lights made it worse. Eastwood literally couldn't open his eyes fully without squinting. The look stuck, and audiences interpreted it as deadly confidence, the "don't mess with me" expression that became his trademark for decades. 16. The film was shot in just 44 days. No fancy schedule, no massive crews. Eastwood and Siegel were known for being lightning-fast filmmakers. They averaged 4 setups per hour, a record pace for 1970s filmmaking. This efficiency gave the movie a raw, spontaneous energy. You can practically feel the urgency in every scene, like the camera barely had time to catch up with the action. That stripped-down realism became a defining style for Eastwood's later directing career.
Time for therapy. You hang in there now.
17. Eastwood's favorite scene wasn't a shootout. Most people think Clint's favorite scene would be one of the gunfights. Nope, he said his favorite moment is when Harry visits his wounded partner in the hospital. It's a quiet human scene that shows the emotional weight of the job. Eastwood felt it grounded the film, proving Harry wasn't just a cold killer, but a man burdened by the violence around him. It's a small moment that made the whole movie feel more real.
I've changed my mind. I'm going to let her die.
18. The villain was based on the Zodiac Killer. The Scorpio Killer wasn't just a random madman, he was modeled after the real-life Zodiac Killer who terrorized San Francisco in the late 60s. Screenwriter Harry Julian Fink drew inspiration from the Zodiac's taunting letters, coded threats, and random acts of violence. In fact, the chilling, "I want $100,000 or I'll keep killing" letter in the movie came straight out of the Zodiac's playbook. At the time of filming, the real Zodiac had never been caught, so people watching Dirty Harry in 1971 felt like they were seeing a nightmare ripped straight from the headlines. 19. It launched 4 sequels and a generation of anti-heroes. The success of Dirty Harry led to 4 sequels: Magnum Force, 1973, The Enforcer, 1976, Sudden Impact, 1983, and The Deadpool, 1988. Each one built on Harry's justice at any cost attitude. And beyond the franchise, the character inspired a wave of gritty, no-nonsense cops and soldiers from Lethal Weapons Riggs to Die Hard's John McClane. Harry Callahan proved that heroes didn't need capes, just conviction, a growl, and maybe a massive revolver. 20. Dirty Harry redefined Hollywood's moral compass. Before Dirty Harry, action heroes were squeaky clean. After it, audiences craved flawed, complicated characters. The movie kicked off a new era, one where anti-heroes ruled the screen. It also influenced directors like Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, and David Fincher, all of whom have cited Dirty Harry as a key influence in exploring moral ambiguity on film. Even decades later, you can see Harry Callahan's DNA in modern cinema. Every time a cop bends the rules, every time a vigilante mutters a one-liner before taking aim. Dirty Harry didn't just ask if you felt lucky, it asked if you were ready for a new kind of hero. And there you have it, 20 wild, fascinating facts that prove Dirty Harry wasn't just a movie. It was a moment in pop culture that changed the entire landscape of film. If you liked this video, you'll love this one too.